The writing-directing duo of Emeric Pressburger and Michael Powell, or together known as the Archers, were one of the greatest and most prolific talents to come out of Britain in post-World War II cinema. And in that period, they broke free of the documentary-style, realistic filmmaking dominant during wartime, and produced works described by one film historian of extravagant, dreamlike passion. One such example was Black Narcissus. The Archers have had great cinematic influence that extends to today, inspiring such directors as George Romero, Francis Ford Coppola, and Martin Scorsese. Though both Emeric Pressburger and Michael Powell were credited for directing their films, it was Powell who was truly at the helm. Later in his life, he became so close with his most enthusiastic fan, Martin Scorsese, that he eventually became his mentor. Watching Black Narcissus, along with Powell's other films, is instructive in learning Scorsese's inspirations and techniques. The film tells the story of a group of Anglican nuns who are assigned to a remote palace near the Himalayas. Once there, they are tasked to form a school and hospital to develop and convert the indigenous Indian township. The group is headed by Sister Clodagh, played by Deborah Kerr.
Do you think it's a good thing to let her feel important?
Spare her some of your own importance, if you can.
Mother, are you sorry that I have been appointed to take charge of St. Faith?
Yes. I don't think you're ready for it. And I think you'll be lonely.
Once there, she is to work with Dean, played by David Farrar, a British agent skeptical of converting the locals.
Do you know what the people call this place? The House of Women. The General's father used to keep his ladies here.
From now on, it will be known as the House of St. Faith. Sister, will you have that picture taken down?
I give you till the rains break.
Dean's charms seem to have some effect on Sister Clodagh, but they also ignite the buried passions of Sister Ruth, played by Kathleen Byron, who becomes increasingly jealous of her superior.
You have let yourself fall into thinking too much of Mr. Dean. Sister, don't you realize what you're doing? What you're running the risk of losing in yourself? Sister, I must make you see before it is too late.
All the same, I've noticed you're very pleased to see him yourself.
If that was in your mind, it's better said. I think you're out of your senses.
It's these emotional conflicts that eat away at these three characters. Clodagh's relationship with Dean reminds her of her ill-fated longings for a former friend. Ruth appears disturbed and seems to become even more unhinged once Dean shows her an act of kindness. And Dean himself, a charming cynic who has seen it all, appears to surprise even himself with how much he grows to care and admire Clodagh's resolve, however misplaced it may be.
And that's why you entered the order. Look, you must get away from here, all of you, at once.
Run away?
Yes, if you've got any sense.
What, leave all this work like the brothers?
Yes. I told you it was no place to put a nunnery. There's something in the atmosphere that makes everything seem exaggerated.
The other nuns aren't free of doubt. Local practices and beliefs undermine their deeds. Acts of compassion are misinterpreted and distrusted. Goals aren't met and pressures grow. Their inner turmoil is exacerbated by extreme conditions and isolation. The world seems against them all.
What on earth came over you, Would you like to sit down?
Sister, I want to be transferred.
Transferred?
Yes, I want you, if you will, to write and ask for my transfer at once. If you will, at once.
But why?
I was becoming too fond of the place. I was too wrapped up in my work. I thought too much about it. I'd forgotten
Forgotten what?
what I am. I was losing the spirit of our order.
This burning, fervent internal strife builds continuously towards the film's almost gothic climax. To see the film progress from cold and indifferent to brooding and almost supernatural shows Powell's mastery of tone. He depicts the nuns' mountain enclave as ashen and distant, colorless as the sisterhood's singular devotion to their vocation.
But there may be a slight difference between your idea of a palace and the general's. Anyhow, there it is.
The local Indian populace is backdropped with vibrant color, looking more natural and lively.
They feel like it. And they're no respecters of persons. The men are men, no better, no worse than anywhere else. The women are women, the children, children.
But it is in the second half of the film where Powell's use of Technicolor is stunning. More vibrant hues dominate the film, and the use of red is feverish and effective and foreboding as that in the great film Don't Look Now. Even the absence of color and use of shadows serve a purpose.
Sister, do you want me to wake the others?
You can't order me about. You have nothing to do with me anymore.
I know what you've done. I know that you've left the order. I only want to stop you from doing something you'll be sorry for. Sister Philippa is going back in a few days' time. I want to send you with her.
That's what you would like to do. Send me back and shut me up. That's what you would all like to do.
It is Clodagh and Ruth who come to embody the film's mesmerizing conflict, becoming mirror images, extremes of human nature. Powell uses close-ups of both players to reveal Clodagh's uncertainty and Ruth's blind wantonness. Kathleen Byron's portrayal of Ruth may be over the top, but it's not out of line with the film's mood. Her hostility is right in sync with that of her environment. These aspects are central to many of Martin Scorsese's masterpieces, showing the emotional, if not physical, violence that drives his characters to do what they do. And to see them here in Michael Powell's work provides a moment of clarity. I like to think of Black Narcissus as a film ahead of its time, showing puritanical figures dealing with their past demons and exposing them for what they really are, ordinary people who deal with the realities of life. It shows libido against holiness, civility against wildness, control versus desire.